Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Inshallah, today we will discuss and learn about Islamic Real Estate Investment Trust, REIT. Okay, this is outline of our topic today. The first one we will look at about Real Estate Investment Trust. What is REIT? Second one we will see about Islamic Real Estate Investment Trust, what the comparison Islamic Real Estate REIT and REIT. And the third one, we will discuss and we will look about Malaysian Security Commission guideline for Islamic REIT. And lastly, we will discuss about structure of an Islamic REIT. Okay, the first one, what is REIT? REIT is a collective investment scheme which pull money from investors and use the aggregated capital to buy, manage, and dispose of real estate assets. Okay. REIT is a investor, money from investor. Manager will use that money to invest, focus on real estate asset. Okay, so essentially a unit trust fund, but with specific investment in real estate only. So REIT is one of form of a unit trust fund, but REIT focus only on real estate, okay? Investment in real estate. Compared to the unit trust, they invest in many types of investment, but in the REIT only focus on invest in real estate. So the objective of REIT is to obtain reasonable investment return provided by the stability of the real estate market and the liquidity of the transaction of the trust. So returns are generated from the rental income and any capital appreciation from the holding of the asset. So objective of investment in REIT are to gain return in the form of rental from the real estate asset, and also any capital appreciation, any capital gain, for example, from the selling, capital gain from the selling of the real estate asset. So we as a unit holder invest in REIT, so we can get return in the form of rental income and also from capital appreciation or capital gain, and we will get in the form of dividend. Next, according to SIDC, REIT is a collective investment scheme, invest in real estate asset and real estate related assets. So meaning that investment that invest in real estate asset such as land, building, and so on, and real estate related assets such as infrastructure that have related to the real estate asset, and it can be listed or unlisted, okay, in the capital market. For example, in Malaysia, listed in the Bursa Malaysia. Okay, so it can be listed or it can be unlisted in the capital market. Okay. Definition from guideline. According to the Security Commission guideline on REIT 2005, REIT is an investment vehicle that invests or proposes to invest at least 50% of its total asset in real estate. Real estate, meaning that REIT is an investment that focus on that invest at least 50% in real estate. An investment in real estate may be by way of direct ownership or a shareholding in a single purpose company whose principal asset comprise real estate. So an investment in real estate, we can by the way direct to the ownership, invest in the direct ownership to the real estate, to the that real estate, or we can also invest in the shareholding ownership, to the real estate. So note here, real estate means physical land, okay, physical land, and those human-made items which are attached to the land. Physical land, real estate means physical land, and what are built in a physical land. That land, for example, house, for example, building, factory, and so on. So, real estate contains physical land and also what are built in that land. And Islamic REITs is a collective investment scheme in real estate. Same concept to the REIT, conventional REIT, but in which the tenants operate permissible activities according to the Sharia. But the activities operate on the investment on the real estate. That real estate must be according to the Sharia activity. Okay, so types of REIT. We have several types of REIT. The first one is equity REITs. Invest in shopping centers, hotels, apartments, office building, and other. Equity REITs, meaning that we invest in physical real estate. We invest in the building. We invest in the hotel, apartment, and so on. We invest in the physical asset of real estate. Okay. The second type of REIT is a mortgage REIT. Mortgage REIT, we invest in the mortgage that related to the physically real estate. Okay. For example, we invest in the financing of the real estate. The third one is hybrid REIT, meaning that we invest in the both properties, okay, and mortgage. The third one, both we invest in equity REIT and also mortgage REIT. Okay, that hybrid types of REIT, hybrid REIT. And the lastly is a staple REIT. Staple REIT, meaning that we invest in two or more separate entities in single new financial instrument. Staple REIT, meaning that we invest in one shares, and that shares contain REIT. That shares contain it. So that's the meaning of staple REIT, staple REIT. Okay, this is of types of REIT. Okay, and all right, Islamic REIT, for real estate investment to be Sharia compliant, regard should be given to the following. So to make REIT to become Sharia compliant, or we call Islamic REIT, it must follow this following condition lah. Okay. The first one, utilization of the real estate must be Sharia compliant, including tenancies and sub-tenancy. So, must be Sharia compliant. What activities they want to use to the real estate. Okay. Alright. The second condition is financing of the acquisition or development of the real estate should be Sharia compliant, meaning that financing that used to the real estate should be Sharia compliant. Okay. For example, we want finance to buy the real estate. For example, we buy the land, buy Sharia compliant finance. It must be using financing Sharia compliant. Cannot be contained non-Sharia compliant lah. For example, contract riba or conventional contract. Okay, the third condition is investment of cash or liquidity must be in Sharia compliant instrument. Okay, investment meaning that cash or liquidity that we gain from the real estate asset must be invested in the Sharia compliant instrument. After we get cash or we get liquidity from that real estate asset, and that money we must if we want to invest, we must invest in the Sharia compliant instrument. And lastly, insurance scheme for protecting the real estate should also be Sharia compliant, meaning that to protect the real estate, we should use takaful scheme compared to the insurance. Right. So this is a condition to make or to guide real estate REIT to become an Islamic standard. Okay, next, Islamic REIT vs conventional REIT. Okay, in the fundamentally not much different, same in the concept, in the fundamental and objective administration and structure, very similar to the conventional REIT, but the difference is a type of tenant. Islamic REIT, tenant in a property must operate in business that comply with Sharia principle. So later we will look and we will see what is Sharia non-Sharia compliant activities that cannot be involved in the Islamic REIT. Okay, but in the conventional REIT, no such requirement. So they are open to any business or any operation to the property, to the REIT, okay, to the real estate. And then the second one is a proportion of rental. Islamic REIT fund must be managed by Sharia compliant manner, and conventional REIT no such requirement, no need to follow the requirement. And income, same, income derived from the tenant. Alright. So meaning that Islamic REIT and conventional REIT in the concept, in the fundamental, in the objective, in the income and overall it's same, but the difference is about the activities involved in the real estate must follow the Sharia compliant, but in the conventional REIT do not no such requirement. Alright, so targeted investment of REIT. So we have retail REIT, meaning that invest in the retail business, okay, like shopping mall, freestanding retail, and so on. The second one is healthcare REIT. Invest in the real estate of the healthcare. Okay, for example, in the hospital, in the medical centers, nursing facilities, and retirement homes. And the third one, invest in plantation REIT. Okay, invest in and operate plantation estate and mills. The fourth types of targeted investment of REIT is residential REIT, meaning that invest in the residential REIT, like house, build apartment, and so on. And lastly, in office REIT, invest in office building. Okay, so it's type of REIT lah that can be invest in the okay, and then this is a list of listed REIT as 31st August 2018. So in this table we have 18 REIT, and the star one is the REIT, Islamic REIT, and we have only 4 Islamic REIT. We exist Real Estate Investment Trust, Al-Aqwa Healthcare REIT, As-Salam Real Estate Investment Trust, and KLCC Real Estate Investment Trust. So this is only 4 REIT listed in the Bursa Malaysia, and overall we have 18 REIT in Bursa Malaysia. Okay, this is a logo for the company. Al-Aqwa Healthcare REIT, the mana, okay, and so on lah. You can found in their website and so on. Alright. Okay, structure of an Islamic REIT. Alright, in the structure of an Islamic REIT, okay, so Islamic REIT, we have the first one, we have unit holder. Unit holder is the investor, okay, that want to invest in the Islamic REIT. Okay, and then we have management company that manage the Islamic REIT, investment in Islamic REIT. And in management company, we have a fund manager that will manage the investment, and management company will have Sharia committee, or we call Sharia advisor, that to ensure the activities and contract compliant to the Sharia activity. Okay, and then we have of course we have property. Okay, property, and we have property manager. Okay, and lastly we also have trustee. Unit holder appoint trustee, act on the behalf of unit holder. Okay, so this is the detail of the structure Islamic REIT. The fund manager, okay, the first one is the fund manager, manage full to be commercialized property investment. fund manager is act to manage the money from the investor to invest in real estate. And then management company, REIT must be administered by management company permitted by regulation. Main function REIT manager is setting strategic direction of the REIT, recommendation to its trustee potential position, and so on. And then trustee act as guardian of the asset of the fund and preserve the unit of the interest. Property manager supplies property management service and in return get property management fees. Main function is managing and control the asset of the REIT, preparing budget, keeping financial record, and so on. And property manager manage the property. Okay. And lastly, a Sharia advisor to ensure the activities and contract compliant with the Sharia and act as advice to the management company. Okay. So the next one, the last part is we want to look at Malaysian SC guideline for Islamic REIT. The first guideline is investment in real estate for the purpose of initial listing. The first one in this guideline, non-permissible rental activities. This is a type of activities that cannot be involved in Islamic real estate. Okay, the first one is financial service based on riba, gambling, manufacture or sale of non-halal product or related product, promotional insurance, entertainment activities that are non-permissible according to Sharia, manufacture or sale of tobacco-based product or related product, stockbroking or share trading in Sharia non-compliant security, and lastly, hotel and resort. So this is non-permissible rental activities that cannot be involved in the real estate rental. Okay. The second guideline is rental from tenant carries out mixed activity. If there are mixed tenants, meaning that the proportion of rental from the operation of non-permissible activities to the total turnover of the Islamic REIT in any current financial year must not exceed 20%. Meaning that if the rental activities have mixed activities, meaning that that activities contain activities Sharia compliant activities and also non-Sharia compliant activities. So non-Sharia compliant activities must do not exceed 20% to the total turnover or to total income lah to the Islamic. So if that asset that activities permissible activities over or exceed 20%, so this REIT cannot include in the Islamic REIT. Okay. The third guideline from SC, acquisition of real estate, a building where all the tenant operates only non-permissible activities cannot be included in an Islamic REIT, even if the total rental complies with the 20%. So, if all the tenants operate activities, non-permissible activities, all activities are not permissible, so cannot be included in the Islamic REIT. Okay. The fourth guideline is rental out to a new tenant. Before new tenant, the Sharia committee or Sharia advisor must advise the Islamic REIT manager against acceptance new tenants who operate activities that are fully non-permissible. So, to rent to the new tenant, the Sharia committee or Sharia advisor will advise to uh, 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 will operate activities that are fully non-combustible, so must fully combustible or activity that according to the Sharia higher activity. So if the new tenant of the asset that real estate asset must be operates fully or must operate Sharia compliant activities in their company lah. Okay. Okay. The fifth guideline is a takaful coverage. Takaful scheme must be used to ensure that real estate must use takaful, not insurance conventional. And then the sixth, usage of Islamic derivative. Okay, REIT may use derivative instrument for the purpose of hedging the REITs existing risk exposure, and Islamic REIT must use Islamic derivative. So, if that REIT want to use derivative product or derivative contract to purpose of hedging, okay, hedging risk, and Islamic REIT must use Islamic derivative product or Islamic derivative contract. Okay. If Islamic derivative are not available, okay, if in the situation do not available, don't have any Islamic derivative, or are not commercially viable, the Islamic REIT may be used conventional derivative subject to prior approval from the Sharia advisor being obtained. Okay, so if don't have, it can, but must prove by the Sharia advisor. Okay, so that guideline, if the REIT want to use derivative instrument, they must use Islamic derivative instrument or Islamic derivative product. Okay, the seventh guideline is instrument used in investment, deposit and financing. The Islamic REIT manager must ensure that all form of investment, deposit and financing instrument comply with Sharia principle. Okay, this is guideline on this real estate investment trust effective 2018, and you can get from the website of to the Commission Malaysia guideline according to the REITs. Okay, how would a Malaysian Islamic REIT administrated? Okay, all REITs are governed by multiple level of stakeholder to ensure maximum investor protection. So, we look at multiple level governed by multiple level, from unit holder, from manager, Sharia committee or Sharia advisor, trustee, regulatory authority, SC or and SSC of SC. Okay, so meaning that REITs are governed by multiple level of stakeholders. Okay, the second one, Islamic REIT must comply with both SC guideline on REIT and SC guideline for Islamic REIT. Okay, Islamic REIT must comply the two guidelines, SC guideline and SAC guideline on Islamic REIT. All REITs are established through a deed of trust or trust deed executed by the trustee who act on behalf of the unit holder. So all REITs are secured by trust deed. Okay? So it's very safe and very secure. And the trust deed govern the REIT and the role of the trustee and the management company. Again, the trust deed will make the REIT become a secure product that can we as a investor can invest in this product. Alright, advantage of investing in Islamic REIT. REIT are fairly liquid and be soon off to raise cash to take advantage of other investment opportunities. So REIT are fairly liquid, or we can sell anytime in the REIT market, in the bursa. And then tax benefit, okay, tax benefit. In tax-stable jurisdiction and other government incentive to promote property trust to encourage retail investor to access professional managed share of real estate. The third advantage is benefit from government incentive in jurisdiction that have the top-down approach to encouraging the growth and deepening of the ICM and Islamic wealth management. And lastly, the last advantage are tax-free jurisdiction can attract foreign investors. Okay, retail investor will a relatively small fund can diversify holding in various geographical types of real estate investment. Low correlation to interest rate in most markets. Property appreciation faster than rate of inflation, providing better inflation hedge compared to other asset classes, meaning that property can become a hedging instrument to the inflation, because property appreciation faster than inflation rate. Okay, REIT have lower correlation to equities compared to other asset classes, and therefore provide stability to investors with an active asset allocation strategy and high cash dividend relative to the market. So because of price of real estate become higher from year to year, and that's why REIT is more quite stable according to the compared to this product. All right. The lastly, REIT vs unit trust fund. This is we can read by itself. Okay. So REIT vs unit trust. So actually, unit trust and REIT is in the same form, and REIT is one of REIT is one of form of unit trust. Okay, meaning that but the comparison, unit trust REIT focus on property only, and unit trust focus on many types of investment. Alright. So lastly, in the summary, in this sector, we have learned about real estate investment trust today. The second one, we also have see to the about Islamic REIT, and we also have learned about mentioned SC guidelines for Islamic REIT. And lastly, we also look about and learn about structure of an Islamic REIT, and I hope you can understand about this chapter about REIT and Islamic REIT in Malaysian perspective. And that's all from me. Thank you.